issue happening with the buyer brokers forms.
Okay.
So when they first came out for our state, they told us, hi everyone, we're just kind of chatting away a little bit.
Oh,
They told
sorry.
us that as long as we had it signed before we opened the door, we were good, is what
Mhm.
my original broker told me, right? When this all happened on, was it August 17th, 2024. So
Yep.
I'm like, all right, no problem. And now this the state, you know, DPPR, which is our license holder for the state of Florida, they're doing spot checks and they're stating that if you don't have that signed before you go and schedule it on showing time or however you scheduled it, you are now fined. And they've been going to court with agents over it because that
Oh,
wasn't the direction given.
right.
And so I hear about all these little things, and then I'm like, oh my gosh. And this is happening in like Jacksonville, say. And I'm down in Southwest Florida, Naples. We're like 6 hours away from each other, right? And so I just heard about that. And now I have been real cautious about even my own listings because they state, well, if you have a listing, you can open a door for anyone who calls me to say, hey,
Right.
I want to come see XYZ property. Well, I got to be honest with you. I went on the call and said, I'm not comfortable showing them that door when now they're taking agents and fining them for
Right.
not having this buyer broker. So I had one guy very adamant about not wanting to sign a buyer broker. He wanted to be non-representation. And I made him sign a non-representation form before my team opened the door for him. Because at this point, like, I don't know if he works for the state and is just doing a random
Um,
check on me. You know, we have secret
right.
shoppers that come out to check if we're doing the right thing for our clients. And so, and he was very adamant on the phone, like to the point where like the little red flags were going off. And I
Oh,
was like, oh, I don't like this, right? Our
uh-huh.
job is to get that listing sold, but we also
Right.
have this whole new thing happening with
Yeah.
NAR and buyer broker where we're caught in a really unique spot of protect yourself, CYA. I
Right.
mean, that's the best thing I could say.
Yeah.
Because I'm seeing and I hear about it now more than ever that they're cracking down.
Oh man.
So
Wow.
I'm
Hey,
like, I'm
Lisa.
not scheduling nothing
So
until
Lisa,
you sign.
where did you hear this?
My
The
broker
broker
meeting for the
meeting?
state. Mm-hmm.
Okay, because I haven't heard anything about it. I'm a district director in Jacksonville, and I manage the agent team down there. And
Mm-hmm.
so I'm trying to make
What
sure
brokerage are you with?
Fathom Realty.
Okay. So I'm with EXP and we had a huge broker meeting about this. And I was like, and they were going to court with an agent because they got fined and they were saying, hey, there was no direction that this had to be done, right? This process. So I need to follow up to see what happened. But when they mentioned it, I just told everyone on the team, don't do it. You know, don't schedule that on showing time. It has nothing to do with what we're talking about this morning. But she was on early and we were just kind of chatting about it. And it's just one of those things that, you know, as we go through and work with a lot of our clients, and if you're new to the call today this morning, welcome. I'm Felicia Saracino. Um, I'm your host today. We're kind of going, I want to hear what's going on with you all. So we had a question pop up, and I think it's really important for us to, you know, dive into this. But as we work with the senior population, the aging population, my clients don't like electronic signing. So I think more than ever right now, it's really important to have those face-to-face meetings with them. If they're selling their house and they want to buy something, even if it's an investment that's going to help pay for senior living, right? So I do this a lot with my clients. Say their shortfall is, you know, 1,500 a month. Well, if we take their money, put it into an investment property, a 1031 exchange, and have that cover their shortfall and then some for senior living. Now they have a little nest egg of equity for their loved ones that they can, give to their loved ones in their will. They could will to them. So what I do a lot is I meet with them face to face and we just sign off on a buyer broker right when we're doing the listing, because my folks are all paper signatures, right? Very few of them are tech savvy. And if they are not local and they're not tech savvy, I partner with their power of attorneys so that their power of attorney and them can be on an email together, and that we can do it kind of side by side so that they understand what they're signing and how it works. This is kind of like a delicate thing, especially for a lot of my folks who they may have a property down here, but live up in Michigan. I have one person up in Indiana right now, another one in Ohio, and we're selling their home. So I can't really do paper signatures with them. We got to do electronic, partner with that adult child who's our power of attorney so that we can get all of it done. But it's a crazy world out there. So and it's forever changing. I have a funny feeling it's going to change again. Since once we all get kind of used to the way things are going in real estate, I think they're going to just throw something else out there. So, always, right? Oh, I can't hear you, Cindy.
Oh, always. Yeah. I mean, it's forever changing. That's what makes it interesting.
It does. It keeps us on our toes. So I want to hear from you all. David, you're in Jacksonville?
Yeah. Well, I'm in Jacksonville for the agents. I live in Savannah, Georgia. So about
okay. You're real close.
2 hours away. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. That's awesome. And how are things going up there? How's the market?
Well, let me put it this way. In my subdivision, there are probably 8 homes for sale, and nobody's getting any showings. And it's a 350 to 400 range and getting no showing. So, and that's not just now, that's been since probably August. So it's that slow. Though you look at the statistics and other parts of Savannah are doing outstanding. Okay. It's just where you are. And the same goes for Jacksonville. I've had agents that have had listings on the market, going on hundreds of days now and just can't get anybody in to take a look at it. So that's general. Okay. As far as my senior work, it's coming along because I moved here about 2 years ago. So it's been a process of getting introduced to the players here. And, slowly but surely I'm getting the leads fed to me. So that's good thing. And those people typically got to sell. So I think that's a better market.
It's been, and I mean, even down here, it's been a really weird year. So my season, similar to Jacksonville and in many states that are like this seasonal, our season January to March last year was crickets. And we picked up in May and June, which is unheard of. And then August and September we picked up, which is normally our slowest months of the year. And they weren't. October had a little bump. November's like, December is like, not much happening because it's the holidays, right? So we're interested to see what's happening in January. And the biggest thing that I feel is once you are picking up all of these listings, it's a wonderful thing, but you got to sell them, right? You got to sell them. And with your clients, you have to figure out what's the best way to communicate with them and how often to communicate with them. Now, many seniors that I work with, they're tech savvy with texting. They're just not really computer savvy because they could voice text, right? And so I try and keep up with them when I have a brand new listing. In the first 10 days, I'm texting them every day or reaching out to them every day And then after that, it's something that we decide how often do they want to hear. Just checking in, let you know there's not much happening right now. Not everyone wants to hear that, but you have to keep in contact with them, because when you're selling someone's home where they moved into senior living, the anxiety level for them goes up really, really, really high. And so when they don't hear from you, they're formulating things in their mind that is happening. Oh, did I make the wrong decision? Should I move back home? Is one of them that's going to pop up, right? And, oh, I haven't heard from Felicia. What's going on? Should I reach out to her? Oh, I know she's busy. I don't want to bother her. And you shouldn't have your client be in that state of scarcity mindset, because that's when they make really bad decisions. We all know. So we want to keep in contact with them more often than you think you should. And I kind of take turns every other day of who I am reaching out to and making sure that they are up to date. And even if we had an open house and no one showed, I'll tell them we hosted an open house and no one showed. If 2 people showed, I give them the scoop as much as I can, keep them in that loop, because you don't want your client to move it back into their home, because number one, that is going to be a damaging relationship factor for you with that senior living community. And they're going to say, oh, she can't get the job done, so we're not going to use her or him, right? We're going to use a different agent. And I also keep in contact with the senior living community so that I let them know what's happening. Now, I've listed homes this past year, and this has happened to me more this year than ever before. And what's happened is they put it on in the dead of summer, and we didn't really get any showings. We didn't get many people visiting during a broker's open or an open house. And they decided to take their home off the market and kind of revisit the whole should I move into senior living thing. Now, you have to have those conversations, which are awkward to have, but you got to with the senior living community. They knew all along what was happening, how many showings we had, what the price decreases were, under market value right now, still not getting anything happening. One of the worst real estate markets in our nation's history right now, right? Depending on how you look at it from where you are. And you just have to stay in contact with them, because you need to save your relationship with the senior living community. And so that's something that's very important, because they are not realtors. And although everyone thinks they know the real estate market, they're not in your shoes. And we all know, and I know exactly what you're going through, because you have that moment of panic, like, oh, we got to sell this. We got to sell this property. We got to get this sold. So how are we going to do it? And there are different ways for you to get that property sold and who you could reach out to. But right now, we're seeing a bump down here from the New York market, which is great, right? But they're not pulling the trigger to buy. They're just like looky-loos. So we're assuming and making the prediction in the crystal ball that we all don't have, that it's going to happen after the holidays, because everyone's in holiday mode. But we'll see. Only time to tell.
So in terms of, yeah, I'm seeing a lot of death knells for the Florida housing market. Okay, I'm sorry, we're talking Florida, but it kind of affects everywhere. Is that overhype, or are you actually seeing some desperation out there?
And in desperation, in what way?
Pulling houses from the market, uh, people reconsidering what they're doing, don't want to list at all, without even having it, try it. Are you seeing that, or is it just kind of normal stuff in a different market?
For us, it's very normal for December.
Okay.
Folks right now, I have a handful of listings that want to go on after the holidays. They don't want to be bothered during the holidays right now. The people who have pulled their listings, a lot of times, and this is something to think about, a lot of times we withdraw the listing for them if they're a senior so they don't get those like expired or termination calls, right? Coming through because they just want to take it off for the next 3 weeks and then put it back on after Christmas because they're going away or they have Christmas presents or families coming in and it's too much of a disruption. Plus, if we do it that way, they don't have to redo all their paperwork all over again,
Right.
which is time consuming, right? However, what we have seen is I've had 2 so far, only 2 out of 16 listings rethink their decision to move into senior living. And it's because their entire neighborhood is not selling and their percentage of this property, I think, has 900 and something homes inside of there. And there's more than 10% homes on the market right now, which is very high for a neighborhood of that size. And they're seeing that everyone across the board is having a tough time selling their home. And so say that market value for that home is 800,000, it's selling for close to 720. And they can't take that big of a loss because that is, a year and a half worth of senior living fees that they would have to pay. So they just can't afford it. So now they're rethinking, well, maybe I shouldn't look at a CCRC. Maybe I should look at a month-to-month rental so I don't have to give them, $500,000 up front. And then my monthly payment is still $6,000 a month for me and my spouse.
Right.
And maybe I need to rethink my path. So they're putting it on hold, kind of reworking it and figuring that out. And when we have that happen, we help them regroup and say, no problem, I completely understand. It's not like it's a severed relationship. It's like, okay, well, how do we regroup for you so that you have a place that's going to fit within your budget with what's happening in the real estate market and you have a plan B? And hey, if we go back on the market in January and that property sells for what you need it to sell for, so say they need it to sell for 775, they can afford to go with property A. Now they have a property B that they're going to move into, and that is more affordable for them because they want to make sure that their money lasts. And if these folks are in their 80s, they want to make sure their money lasts to 100 years old so that they don't run out of money. And that is pretty much the general consensus for what I'm seeing with our marketplace and folks, getting that house on the market. I will say that it's the time of year where more people are visiting senior living communities. But my senior living communities that I partner with are having record low turnouts right now. So they don't know what to do themselves because they're used to having, 5 or 6 tours a day, and now they barely have 1. So we've got to see what's happening. And is anyone else seeing this in their marketplace right now too?
Yes, I have a few people at senior living communities that know I have a marketing and promotions background. I mean, because I tell them about it and they're like, hey, I'm not getting enough tours. Do you have any ideas for events? Or do you, so they're reaching out to me and picking my brain about different things that they could be doing, which is awesome. But
yes, way to go and pivot yourself as that marketing expert. That's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, a couple of them just feel very panicky. I've been doing this for 20 years and I've never seen a November, December that looks like this. Like, what am I going to do? Also, this person had 9 deaths in 3 weeks.
Yeah.
So
and
they
Eric,
had,
I've been there. And I'm going to tell you that what they're going through is so much scrutiny from their corporate office.
right. Mm-hmm.
And remember, I told you guys I had 17 deaths in 1 month from the neurovirus, and my capacity was 103 units.
Wow.
17 deaths is like terrifying to anyone. We had a wait list, and you go through that wait list real fast. And if it's not their time to move in, they say no, they just go to the bottom of the wait list and then you just keep going through it. It took us 6 months to make up those 17 deaths, but then we still had census goals that we weren't meeting because we still weren't at 100% capacity at that time. I think it was like in the low 80s, 82. So we still had a gap to goal. And we were considered to be one of the Fab Five of the entire organization and had to go on a 30-minute call every morning to go through our hots, warms, leads, and every single thing was scrutinized. So what these senior living directors are facing right now is, number one, that scrutiny. Number two, they're not going to make bonus at one of the most important times of the year for them to make bonus, because they're typically paid on a mid-salary range and a heavy bonus. And then once you get closer to occupancy, once you get to that census, then you get another bonus. And so when you start losing that, it becomes a frantic type of a scenario, because you're being picked on. And they're like, what are you doing? How many professional tours are you having? How many events are you having? How many people are you getting through the building? You know, can you do this referral program, that referral program? And that's where I was saying, and this is something that has come up a lot, is should agents be senior placement agents? You don't have to. Just about every community that I work with offers a realtor incentive to move someone in. And so you don't have to wear many hats. You could stay in your lane and still have them come and go visit and still get compensated for that. Or you can do what I do a lot of times, and I partner with the senior placement agents, because on average, they're moving between 8 to 10 people in a month. I want a shot at those listings.
Right.
So I'm like, I want your listings from all those people. And I want you to ask, do you have a realtor? Are you selling your house? Would you be willing to meet with ours? That's it. So I use that as my tool. Now, I had an attorney call me yesterday and say, hey, I really need some help. Could you help with this person with placement? I trust you, and they don't trust many other people. And I'm like, you know what? I'll help. Absolutely. I have no problem with that. If I'm asked by an elder law attorney to do it, I'm going to do it, right? So we're all going to work together. But when you go into these communities, you need to ask what their referral program is for professionals, not even realtors. I mean, American House by Me is offering $4,000 for any referral coming in. That's a lot of money. And you could be any professional: home health, home care, placement, realtor, the painter next door. They don't care. They just want to fill their building, right? So they rather take that $4,000 hit. So I call that a fast burn, so that they get the money for the rest of the year from that income, which on average is over $5,000 a month. So they're like, yep, we'll take that fast burn and move on. And on the op side, they're like, yeah, we'll pay out those referral fees, because we want these people in here, because for the long term, they're going to, take over a big portion of their funds. So that's something that I want to kind of bring up. I know this has been a question that has been asked on our Facebook group, which is great. There's a lot of different certifications out there as well, and programs. Sorry, I have the hiccups. That are out there. And what I always say to folks when it comes time for getting some sort of a certification for a placement agency or something else that you may think, the one thing I want you to ask yourself is, how is it going to bring you money? Because yes, there's referral companies out there, or Facebook groups out there that say, okay, you belong to this. We need an agent in Jacksonville, and you're the first one on there going, yep, we can help you. Yes, you can have that. But for me, if you have no income coming in, I would spend time on building those relationships and doing those events that are going to be that's your client, that's your drip, to get to the immediate result of income. And then I would focus on, okay, well, now we're going to level up. We're getting some income. We've gotten those, 5 or 6 deals in, and now let's level up and see how we can turn this up a notch. So I saw a couple of hands raised. Cindy, I think you were first.
Okay, I just wanted to bring up, I've been reaching out to a lot of senior communities asking for tours, and a lot of them get rescheduled, or hey, could you reach out in another month? I'm so busy, I'm so busy. Where now, when things are being slower, I'm getting, oh yeah, I've got some time. So I just wanted to share that with other people because I have been a little bit frustrated. I get it. I'm not their priority. If they've got five, tours that day for, potentially paying customers, that's their priority. But I have been finding that people are a little bit more open to meeting with me.
Mhm.
So now's the time to make those calls.
Absolutely. And this is the time where if they're having a desperation mode of, oh my gosh, I'm 20% to goal for my census, I got to get it done. If you call them up and they say they're 95%, the chances of them being able to really partner with you go down. So
Right,
you want to partner with those that, have that big gap to goal. But
right.
you're doing the right thing. And this is where you have to go in and partner with them. And I always bring something with me, as like a little, like, I know you're the candy lady, Cindy. Bring the
Yeah.
jars with me. I bring like I bring something. This was actually given to me when I was at conference, and I didn't know what it was. It's like a little bag with a little tie on top here, and they're M&Ms inside. I
Oh,
don't know if you can.
cute.
I'm like, here.
Yeah.
Wow. They're M&Ms inside, and she made them herself. This is annoying. She made them herself. Got these bags on like online, filled them with M&Ms, and then put a sticker on it that says, "Oh, by the way, I'm never too busy for your referrals." Now, I wouldn't use that. I would probably write something on there like your real estate senior living downsized partner type of a thing, and then put your card on there. I thought this was really cute. I kept it, and I did not eat the M&Ms. My husband's so proud of me. But I was like, this is really inexpensive, right? And it's easy to have a couple of these in your car ready to go. Not in Florida because they probably melt into one giant piece of candy. But, I keep them in my bag and bring them in and out. But I thought this was adorable and inexpensive. The other thing is a lot of people this time of year, you see all the referral Popeyes out there. They get a piece of wrapping paper and it's a wrap. And they put like a little note on and drop those off because everyone uses wrapping paper this time of year. You can get them from the dollar store, super cheap, really inexpensive. Yes, Miss Linda.
So, so yeah, you were talking about the referrals and referral fee. So I got a
Mm-hmm.
call from a senior living community sales director on Saturday. And this is the first time that I've been approached directly or asked or been involved directly with a referral program specifically for real estate agents. And which in a s- which I don't know if other communities just aren't doing it because I've visited a number of communities and none of them have brought this forward. And this is a woman I've known for a couple of years now. I've offered to do talks at the community and that hasn't worked out. I don't think it's off the table. I think they have different other ways of going about doing things. And so I've got a couple of questions about that. I've got a question about that. So um, is she said that I would get X amount, I don't know, $4,000, something, some number, 90 days after somebody moves in. So there's
Yeah.
a waiting period.
Mm-hmm.
Is there a contract that they do? So is there a contract? And the other part is, do I really care about that? Because I really want their referrals to me.
Thank
Like
you.
I like
Thank
I
you.
like I and I
Yes.
actually said this is really uh, she said that she had talked to a couple of other real estate agents and they all said no, I'm not interested because I'm not in the placement business.
Mm-hmm.
said, I'm not in the placement business either, but I really love your community because of this and this and this. And
Mhm.
I really want to be able to refer people to your community when they're looking at options. And I look at your community fitting into this piece because of this.
Mhm.
And so I'm just wondering kind of what your thoughts are about that.
So I'm probably going to say some things that are really unpopular right now. So understand that I come from a place of experience,
Mhm.
and I come from the place of being an executive director and a sales director in multiple states, in 2 states in the US. And so there's a lot of mixed messages out there, because when real estate is in the toilet, let's just say it, let's call a spade, my friends. Right now, real estate is not doing as well as it did a few years ago, right? And this past year was probably not your best year that you've had in the past 5 to 10 years, right? So, how many people have had this happen? You could raise your hand, or just give me a thumbs up, or in the chat, put something in there, because I want to make sure I'm talking in the right space for you. So when people are in more of a desperate mode to make their salary, they are looking to other ways to build that gap. Okay. Now, there's tons of ways that you can do that. You can partner with your lender for, and I can have Paul talk about that, for RESPA compliant ways for you to build your income. Okay. So that's something that he could talk about, but I know about it. And my brokerage offers you to be able to have a brokerage arm of your team so that you can have income that goes towards things like your marketing budget. Okay. Like, I can't use it as like passive income for me, but I could use it as like a marketing bucket. When people hear that they could make two, three, four, five, six, $7,000 on placement. Now, if you're in New York City, the average price of a New York City assisted living monthly fee is $25,000 a month. And if you are getting 90% of that as a placement agent, you bet your bottom dollar people are going in and saying, I want to try and get that, because that's a lot of money. Now, it's all relevant. If you sold a property in New York City, you're probably making north of $30,000 on that commission, right? It's going to be north of $1 million. It's just New York City. So everything is relevant. There is no placement national organization like there is NASM, NAR, the National Association of Home Care, Home Health. There is nothing right now. There have been rumblings for years on that being formed and founded. Now, I'm lucky enough to have one of the founders of NASM live in my market. I worked with her at a senior living community, and I've learned from her. She's one of the founding members. So I'm picking her brain all the time, and I get a chance to hear a few things that are happening within the whole market. Once it gets regulated and clamped down, this is going to get clamped down big time, in my opinion, my professional opinion. For you to learn everything that placement agents learn and do your real estate is very time consuming. There's not, like, even when you take the SRES, it doesn't make you an expert. I'm going to say it out loud. It's a 4 or 5 hour class. It just gives you the skimmings of what senior living is. That doesn't make you an expert. It makes you knowledgeable of what's going on. I can't take my over a decade of experience working in healthcare, seeing everything that has happened with all the changes of Medicare and Medicaid, and teach that to you all. I just can't. I don't remember half of it sometimes until I'm triggered. What I'm saying to you is, when you go to something in a place of desperation and you're saying, and then please, I know I'm not going to be popular right now. Yes, I want that money. You have a choice to get that referral fee. And if you feel comfortable with that, or if you're having a tough time in real estate, by all means, please understand that I'm not saying you don't take it. I have gotten them before, especially when things are tight. My preference is to say to them, hey, can you take the $1,500 and put it towards their community fee and buy it down for me? And the next client that you have coming in, would you be able to talk to them about my services? Because I'd like to list their home. Because I know I'm going to make more than $1,500 in selling their home. That is my philosophy. I know that's Corey's philosophy. I'm not going to speak for him, but you can ask him on Friday about it too, to elaborate. But we have similar views on that. I am not saying by any means don't take it, because if you don't have any income and you want to go into that direction and be able to branch off, by all means, go and do it. It's just going to take a lot of time. On average, it took me 30 to 40 hours to move someone in as a placement agent when I left working in senior living. It's just it's a brass tacks. It's a lot of hand holding, a lot of family counseling. You got to have certain liability insurance for your car to put them in your car and take them around, or they have to meet you there. And you need to make sure that if you're going to do that, yes, you're going to have contracts signed with every community in your marketplace. Because as I've said before, all they have to do is have a daughter or a family member give a place for mom a call, and their robots go and say, Mary Lou, age 82, is looking for senior living ALF in this market, and it blankets an email to all of those assisted livings. And the way the contract works, because I've signed hundreds of them in my experience, the early bird gets the worm. If Place for Mom's email comes in at 10:37 and your email comes in at 10:40, guess who gets it? A Place for Mom. It's a competitive marketplace. There's no umbrella of a company, like an organization, mandating these. It's whatever the corporate office sees that they want to agree with. Now, when it comes time for the realtor or the professional referral fee, they should have you sign a form that you brought that client in and you're going to get it. Now, if it's a realtor one, in my experience, remember, I haven't been in a senior living community working as an operator for 5 years. This is the process that happened. Laura came in, she signed this, she brought Betty Sue. I take that form, scan it to my business office director. The business office director puts it all in. She says, okay, they have to live here for 90 days. And then we pay out to Laura the $3,000, whatever the case is, okay? If Betty Sue dies within that time period, you get no money. If they're 1 day short of dying, you get no money. That's their loophole. When they did pay out and you were a realtor, it did not go to you directly. It went to your broker and your split went into effect. And that was the biggest complaint that I had from real estate agents in Connecticut, where I was an ED, and down here in Florida as an ED. That was the rule of thumb. So that $1,500 quickly became much less because of that. So I just was of a mindset of now saying, hey, give it to them their community fee. Help them with move-in expenses. I'm happy to do that because I want to partner with you. And I want all of your referrals as they come in, and I want an opportunity to sell their home. Would you help me with that? I'm bringing you someone and bearing gifts, as Paul says, bearing gifts. Can you help me out? They're more than welcome to do that. They always say yes. I had someone yesterday, we were talking about a client who's pretty ill right now, and new diagnosis came along, and she said, I know this isn't really working out for you, and you already listed the property and don't know what's going to happen, but I have someone coming in today and I don't think he has a real estate agent. Let me pick his brain. I'm going to help you. And I was like, thank you so much, because I got to make money in order to keep doing this, right? We got to still have income coming through. So I know that was long-winded, but did that help answer your question, Linda?
Yeah, definitely.
There's a lot of controversy out there. I'm on all the groups that all y'all are on. I read all the comments that all you people do. I see them, and I see someone saying, yeah, we have accreditation and you can get certified. Certified by whom?
Yeah.
How does that help you?
No,
I'm just saying that.
yeah, I
I
have
mean,
no interest in doing placement.
it's
Zero.
hard. And you can have
I,
the alphabet soup past your name.
yeah.
But do your clients know what, they don't know what a CDP means, certified dementia practitioner, that I have on mine. They don't know what an SRES or an RSPS is, or a PSA, or blah, blah, blah. They don't know what it means. They only see what you are putting out there. And when you set yourself up higher for them, right? When you're doing a presentation, and you, in the presentation, you have to say, yes, I'm an SRES. This is what it means. Then they go, oh, I didn't know that existed. How does that help sell my home? And you explain it to them, right? But that's your opportunity to talk about things of that nature. But when they're Googling you, they have no idea. And if you want a fun exercise, I know we went over a little bit. If you want a fun exercise, go to your Chat GPT or Gemini and see who the top agent is that's serving seniors in your market. And see how you pop up. Because I have a whole class on that, on how to fix it and how to get your what's called your AEO along with your SEO so that you show up higher. Words, all keywords now. Very interesting.
When are you doing that class, Felicia?
We
Or
did
did
that
you?
class.
Is it
We did it. And I have to figure out what we called it, but we did have a class on that. I do have a class tomorrow. Can't believe Thursday is almost here, at 12 noon Eastern time. And that class is on how to start a downsizing club where you will get a minimum of 6 listings annually. That's a good one.
Yeah. Yeah,
From start to finish.
I'll try to come for that one. But yeah, if you could scrounge up what your AEO to SEO, what the name of that is, and so how we could find it in the recordings. I'm always trying to filter through stuff and it's hard to find things.
Yeah. So it is definitely something that, Rose, I'm going to have you kind of help me look for that today. It's really cool. And there's all these things in Chat GPT. And then we should do it on a morning call, maybe next week. Because the cool thing about it is it brings you down a rabbit hole. And I just had a company meet with me, and they said, oh, we can help your SEO and your AEO. And then he looked me up online and he said, oh, you don't need my help. And I was like, why? He goes, you did it already. And I'm like, thank you. I did something right, which is what is the link to sign up for the group? Rose, can you put that in the chat? I'll look for it right now. We do have a couple of things right now going on, but I'll have Rose put that in. And I'm just pulling this up. Does anyone have any other? I know we went way over today. Does anyone have any other things that they want to touch base on quick? Was this helpful?
Yeah, very helpful.
Okay, good, because I want it to be helpful for you. You know, it's the shiny object syndrome. We have to avoid that and go to what actionable items that we can take to bring in leads, to bring business in, to help set us apart, to have success stories for that. So that's what our focus is on. And thank you all for popping on today. I hope you have a fabulous day, and I'll see y'all tomorrow at noon. I'll talk to you soon. Thank you so much.